what's up? It's Sean Baligian.
What up? This is Joy Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. What is up? So glad you could join us on a Thursday morning here on Woodward Sports along with Joy Bell. I'm Sean Baligian, and unlike the morning show, okay, we are going to give the man the middle seat today, okay? Stick, you didn't belong in the middle. The man belongs in the middle, so we put the man in the middle. That's Terry Foster.
Can we do something about these chairs, though?
Chad, hire him now. I don't care what his asking price is. Hire him now just for that last statement.
Yes. I can't get it right, but I'm going to try.
I'm gonna try.
I have a critical question for
you like
Mr.
standing
Bell
up
over here.
Yeah.
You like standing up?
I guess so.
Okay.
I could just do that.
Okay.
All right, critical question. Here we go. We're going
right.
to start the show out right away.
We have I'm unlike Stick. I can't say it. There is a new coach in town, Dan Campbell. And I have heard every guy who can't play football who said, I will run through a brick wall for this man because he comes in off fire.
Who said this?
Just fellas.
Okay.
Just guys out in public.
Okay.
As a player, how would you react to Dan Campbell coming in with a fire and brimstone approach, talking about breaking kneecaps? Would that fire you up, or would you look at him and say, you know what, this dude's a clown? How would you react to him?
I wouldn't say this dude's a clown. I would say, that's a press conference. That's his job. Go win the people over. And now, you have a press conference, and now you have the locker room, right? The locker room, that first team meeting, that's when you get your first impression of him.
But if he came in that way in the locker room, how would you react to it as a player? Would that fire you up?
It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. Okay. It wouldn't. You never treat the media like you treat your team. Right, the media is one side, right? The media, what you do in front of the cameras, is one thing, right? And when you have to be somewhere type of candid with the camera, and then when you come in the locker room, it's different. All right, it's different. It's more laid. I'm not gonna say it's more laid back, but it's more, all right, me talking to you one-on-one. Right, I'm talking to my team, and so I will want to see what that first meeting will be like first, right? So when Coach Caldwell came in. That first meeting, that first impression of him, it wasn't my first impression of him because I had him as a coach before.
Right.
But a lot of guys on the team, they were all in.
Guys told me in the locker room, when Coach Caldwell was in trouble, they said, be careful about firing this guy because we believe in him, and if you bring in the wrong guy, we're not going to play for him. What did Coach Caldwell have that made guys want to play for them and maybe overachieve a little bit than maybe others did not have?
I'm gonna tell you a time where he came in the locker room and he was never negative. He treated all the men with respect, win or lose, regardless of the situation. I remember he came in. We started the season off 2-6, right? And no, I'm sorry, was it 1-7? We saw 1-7. And
2015.
Yep. And we came in. I think we had just got back from. London. We had played.
You got killed by the Chiefs.
Got killed by the Chiefs. Came back, and I remember and sitting down in that team meeting room. He said, "Listen, guys, I want you guys to be successful. I don't want you guys to be successful for me. I want you to be successful for you. I'm already rich enough to pay a king's ransom. I want you guys to get paid, right?" And that's what he told us. He's like, "I want you to be successful for you, not for me. I'm good." He said, "Now we dug ourselves a hole, right? This isn't hard, right? This isn't hard. You know what's hard? A marriage." This is what he said. He said, this is a real comment. He said, "A marriage is hard. You think this is hard? Get married." and the people that are married, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. He said, what we dug ourselves into, this isn't hard. And then what happened? We went out the last 8 games of the season. We went 6-2, turned it around. And it very well could have been 8-0. We lost to Green Bay off the ghost face mask, and that carried over into the next week when we played the Rams. I mean, we didn't have any playoff spot. We knew we were just playing for pride, and we were playing for Coach Caldwell, even though we could have thrown the towel.
Terry, isn't that fascinating? Because you know what? That's the perspective that I don't think a lot of people heard. Because I'll speak for me. It was one of those "what the hell are you doing" Lion moments when you guys got back from Kansas City, Joik, and you fire Tom Lewan, you fire Martin Mayhew, but you keep Coach Caldwell. And I'm telling you point blank, at that point in time, what I was doing is going, well, wait a second. He's coaching the team. They're 1-7. You're getting rid of Lewan. You're getting rid of Mayhew, but you're keeping Caldwell here. And maybe that is enlightening in regards to why they made that decision.
Yeah, I think they knew. Now, this was my opinion on the line. Always at that time, the fans always think the team is more talented than it actually is. But for the most part, I thought that Caldwell got a couple more victories out of that team than they should have had. So players that I talked to said, be careful about letting him go. This place could turn into a disaster. So, and they were right. He didn't have the best game management. He made mistakes. He was a little loosey-goosey at the end of games. But I knew those guys believed in him. And a lot of times, they say, oh, yeah, I believe in my coach, and they're lying. This time, you knew they were telling the truth because they warned, the guys I talked to warned about letting him go, that this place could turn pretty bad. And it did for the most part.
You know what? I go back to the first day.
I go back.
Right.
Joik, I go back to the first day of camp. I'll never forget it. And I was sitting on those bleacher seats that you know well, Terry, out at camp. And when Patricia went off, I'm not joking, maybe 30 seconds in. I'm sure you've heard about it. When he went off 30 seconds in, it was almost like every head that was there at that moment turned around and looked at your former colleague, Mike O'Hara, because he's been to so many camps over the years and everything. And,
right.
and Mike just kind of shook his head, and he answered the question without anybody asking. And he goes, nope, never seen anything like it. Because it was, you want to talk about a culture shock. You went from Caldwell, which, let's be honest, the theory out there was country club, to Matt Patricia, fire and brimstone, bleep, 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 guys 30 seconds into their first practice.
Right. Before he took over, I talked to the people, around the NFL, and they said, Matt Patricia cannot come in here acting like Bill Belichick because he's not. This is not who he is. If he does this, he's going to lose that team. So what does he do? Not only that, not only was he an ass to the team, he's going around town like he owned Detroit. He just got here, being rude to people around here, being rude to players, MFing them and all this kind. This is not what he was, but he came in here trying to be somebody he wasn't. The thing that a lot of coaches, the mistake they make, athletes talk to each other and they know exactly when you're trying to fool them and when you're being real with them. And he wasn't real with them. And that I thought that cost him.
That's a great perspective.
You know what, though? I hear a lot of things about Matt Patricia. Now, I don't know what goes on in the locker room. I only know what, the players tell me. And I can only go off my own perspective. But whenever I spoke with Matt Patricia, always a kind-hearted gentleman, easy to talk to, approachable, was very kind, very respectful. But that's not what they were getting in the locker room, right? That's not what they were getting on the field. And it's hard to be one way on the field and another way off the field. And that's another reason why we talked about Coach Caldwell. The same way he was on the field was the same way he was off the field. He was very respectful. He was going to treat you like men. He was going to he held every player on the team to a certain standard, right? To a certain standard. And that was authentic and organic, and we knew that was the real him, right? You know, we talked about this earlier, probably about a week or so ago, where I think, Sean, you talked with a guy who was in the locker room, and actually it was a player who played for him that I had a conversation with. He said, listen, we veterans. Like, when we talk to you outside of the team meeting room, I mean, he was the guy that I just said he was, kind-hearted, respectful. But when he goes into that locker room or to that team meeting room, he flips the switch and turns into a totally different guy. And he said, and the guy is telling me, like, dude, if you just act like this, if you act the way you do outside of the team meeting room, in the team meeting room, you'll have so much more respect from the team, from the players. We'll want to play for you. We'll run through a brick wall for you because this is the guy we want as a coach, not that other guy, And so I don't know if that's a coaching tactic to try to break you down mentally, to build you back up. You join in a frat, they break you down to build you up. I don't know if that's the type of I don't know, training he had of being a head coach, but I don't think that's the way you go about doing it, right?
It's fascinating because I told you he didn't live too far from me. He was out in my neck of the woods. I saw him around town all the time. Terry, nicest guy. I mean, it was amazing, and I mean, would take the time to talk to people. Would always talk to me whenever I saw him. Very rarely about football. You'd see him around town and everything, and nice. But it was that exactly what you said when you saw him around the compound. It was this totally different guy. My opinion. This is just one man's opinion, and I'd be interested to hear you guys' take on this. I think he figured it out too late. I have to stop being an ass. That's just one man's opinion. I think he figured it out too late. I went too hard. We don't have the results to back me up acting like this. I think he figured it out too late and had already lost the room.
I agree with you. Absolutely, I agree. And sometimes you can't get it back. If you lose the room, well, people say, well, the next year he'll get it back. No. People know that you're being fake, and it's kind of hard to get. I'll tell you a guy that I thought should have been fired even when he was winning 50 games in the NBA. That was Doug Collins. Doug Collins, coach of the Pistons, they won 50 games a couple years in a row. But players were rebelling. They were saying, we're tired of this. And I knew at some point he was slowly losing the room. They were winning games, so players tried to hang in there. But he would do stuff like this. I forget the guy's name. He used to wear black fingernail polish, played at Kansas. But anyway, he's on the elliptical, and Doug Collins was on the treadmill. So the player accidentally unplugged Doug Collins's treadmill. Doug Collins goes off on him. Says, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm on here. I'm trying to get my workout in, and you unplugged my thing. He said, well, sorry, coach. I just messed up and blah, blah, blah. And so it was things like that that angered him. Terry Mills, nicest guy in the world. During practice, he squares up on Doug Collins and says, the only thing that's preventing me from kicking your ass is a paycheck. That's how volatile it was in that locker room. And eventually,
who did that?
Terry Mills to Doug Collins.
Damn.
You want to put the pause on him?
Yeah, he wanted to.
Oh
yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the only difference between I'll probably say the NFL and NBA. You have what's weird though? You have some coaches and they know who to try and they know who not to try. And there's been, instances where I've seen a coach want to say something to a player on the field, but they're not going to do it. All right. And the crazy thing is, in the NBA, it's harder to kind of manage those type of players because their contracts are guaranteed. NFL players' contract, we're not guaranteed, so we're more at risk. So if he would have squared off with Collins, he get cut, doesn't get paid, he get fined. Like, and at what point does respect comes into I don't care what the check is. So I remember I played with Titus Young. We're in. I'll never forget this moment, and this is with another player. Titus had. He was a different type of. He was a different breed. And so we're going through off-season workouts, and the whole team is there, and we're going through each drill. You have the receivers and DBs, you have the linebackers and running backs, and you have the D-line, the O-lineman. And so we're going through Titus and the receiver and the DBs are going through like pushing sleds and ladders, and Louis Delmas, never forget it. He told Titus, "Hey, let's go. Let's pick it up." And he was telling Titus, because Titus was walking through the ladder drill, and he like, "What are you doing?" Titus like, I'm trying to get my feet right. I'm trying to get my feet right. That's what he's saying. And Titus said, "Man, you just bull, you bull crapping." And so they go to pushing the sled, push it 20 yards, push it back. And Titus second his time again, and Lou said, "Man, you bull you bull crapping." He didn't say crapping, but you know what he said. He said, "Man, pick it up." And so Lewis pushes his down and pushes it back. He's tired. He's tired. And all of a sudden, he just felt a fish hit his face. And the whole practice stopped and paused. All right. Lewis was surprised too. And we found out he looked and saw it was Titus. And the temperature went from here to here. All right. No one could hold Lewis back. Titus had to literally run out. Like, it took like 4 or 5 people to hold Lewis back. And so Lewis told the coaches, "Listen," he said, I'll bring in the 75,000. I'll put it on your desk, but he's gonna see me." And I don't know why Titus didn't think he wasn't gonna have to see Lewis, because they literally stayed like a few houses down from each other. He went to Titus' house and sat in his driveway. Like, it wasn't. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. All right, but all right, it was bad.
I don't want Louis Delmas sitting in my driveway.
Yeah.
No.
Crapping my pants.
And so you fast forward. They end up suspending Titus for a period of time during the offseason workout, and nothing happened to Lou, because Lou was like one of those leaders on the team who. He was about that action, and you loved it. And like I said, when he went from here to here, not even the coaches tried to stop him. You know what I'm saying? Not even the coaches just, I'm not getting in the way of that. Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting, and I'll go back to what Terry said. Scotty Bowman, Scotty Bowman knew exactly who to pick.
Yeah.
He knew who not to pick. He was a master. But the difference between Scotty Bowman and Doug Collins and Matt Patricia was all that bling. He had so much bling, he went like this with one hand and then could put the other hand up too. Like, what do you got now? He was a larger-than-life guy. But the stories of some of the stuff that Scotty did, and even he brought it down a notch when he came here to Detroit. As this as it was, he brought it down a notch when he came here to Detroit. It's amazing, Terry, how some guys can do it because they're fill in the blank, and some guys, you're just not going to get away with it.
Yeah, and, as quiet as it kept, they respected Scotty. They didn't like him. Mm-hmm. I remember Wings had a practice at the ice rink downtown, is it City Rink or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Scotty Bowman comes in acting like an ass. And I'm like, I'm out of here, man. I'm tired of this dude. So I was talking to Mike Vernon and Chris Osgood. And Mike Vernon turns to me and says, "Man, fuck you." I said, "You can walk out of here and you never have to come back here again. We're stuck with this asshole for every day. I got to come back here tomorrow. The next day, you can go play with your kids or go play around and everything. I don't feel sorry for you." So I was like, "All right, it's okay, brother. I stand corrected." But they could, and I tell you who else he didn't like, because this is one of my boys on Paul Coffey. Uh-huh. Paul Coffey was my guy. He used to. You didn't like him?
No, he couldn't stand him.
Scotty, I thought you did. Yeah,
Scotty had something personal against him years earlier.
Yeah. So Paul Coffey was my guy. So one day I'm in the locker room. Paul says, "I gotta shower and shit," or whatever he had to do. So he said, "Just stick around. We'll talk." So Scotty had this little watch, and supposedly the media was supposed to be out a half an hour after practice ended. So I'm here talking to Paul Coffey. So Scotty Bowman comes in and says he's got to go. So Paul Coffey says, "No, he doesn't. I'm talking to him. He don't have to leave." this is our thing. Don't get involved in it. So Scotty, pitches a bitch and said, no, I got to leave. And so we ended up finishing our interview underneath the stands at Joe Louis Arena. And that's how I knew. And then him and Coffee just never, ever got along.
Nope.
And then he was the only coach that, he was just out of the blue. He's talking to the media. And then he would look and see somebody and says, you guys got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Or leave, will you?
Yep.
Just
I'm talking to my beat writers. It happened to me.
No, he kicked the beat writers out.
Yeah, but he would pick a guy out, like you said. He would pick that particular day. He wanted to get mad at Terry Foster. That particular day, he wanted to get mad at me, and he'd be looking around and he'd go, "No, this conversation isn't for you," and he points you away.
Yeah, you got to leave.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
He was different, man. Just a different dude, but he had something about him where he got the rings.
It's funny. It was a coach who would do that, and I told you about it with Sean Rogers.
Yeah.
About coach, he'll pick on people on purpose, and he'll tell like the defensive room, or like if it's going to be an offensive player, he'll tell the defensive room. If it's a defensive player, he'll tell the offensive room who he's going to go after. So this particular day, he came in the running back. he came in the offensive meeting and said, "Listen, I'm gonna go after Sean Rogers today." And we said, "You sure you want to do that?" At the time, he's 6'5", 6'6", 360. Like, you frail, you know what I'm saying? And so we got him in practice, and he'll start, picking at him. "Pick it up, Sean. Quit walking on my field." And like Sean would like walk off the field. Like, man, you ain't talking to me. I'm 12 years in. I'm gonna walk off this field. And we get out there and practice. He's walking through. We going through the practice with the pads on. Yeah, "Sean, you can't get past one guy. You can't. Hey, get off of my field. Get off of it." And Sean was stopped practice, stood up, looked at the coach. "You know what, Sean? Just get off the field." Take his helmet off on the field. And when I say he walked across the field at this speed, we stopped. Big baby, Big baby Rogers, big baby Sean Rogers. He walked off the field, couldn't stop him. You can't say anything to him.
Listen, we're up against a break. It's great to have Terry in the house. So many people talking about it. I'm just looking at some of the comments on Facebook. I'm going to point one out right now. Amy said, "Great to see and hear Terry." I couldn't agree more.
Hello, Amy.
We're very happy to have Terry in the house. We're going to get Terry's take on the Lions. Before I hit the break, I got to tell, and Terry, you probably know this. Joy, I don't know if you ever heard this. So Scotty Bowman had all these great teams in the late 70s in Montreal, and two of his prime players had a quote, something along this: "The one thing that the team was all united on was our hatred for Scotty Bowman for 364 days.
Right.
On the 365th day, we had a Stanley Cup parade.
Right. We loved him.
That's such a great – if that doesn't tell you what he did as a coach, I don't know what will. Ken Dryden and Steve Shutt both said a variation of that, and that goes to show you – it goes back to what T was saying about respect. There's a difference between hating a guy, and there's a difference between respecting the guy and hating the guy. You know what I mean? I'm going to get his take on the Lions because it's I'm going to say I like what the Lions are doing. I do. I really like what the Lions are doing.
You like what they're doing?
Other than Jared Goff. I really like what the Lions are doing. We'll talk about that when we come back. Terry Foster in the house today. It's Baligian and Bell. Don't forget, you can start a new career in an industry that is always essential. It's the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. More with Terry Foster next.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
All right, welcome back in. All right, my buddy, the butcher, my meat guy, and I found out talking with Terry, Terry's got his meat guy as well. But my buddy chimed in. He said, Terry likes the ladies and the ribs. I've heard a lot about Terry's ribs, and we're going to find out. We're gonna try to make something happen if that's cool with you.
Okay,
T.
let's do it. I make good ribs, man. I'm telling you.
I'm in.
Who make better ribs, you or Sean?
I don't know. I haven't tried his yet. I'm happy with my ribs. I'm very happy with my ribs.
I'm going to say my ribs, his brisket.
All right.
Deal. Let's go.
You know what?
I'm fine with that.
We'll
let
let Mass be the judge. Be the judge of it. So you guys, you cook your ribs. We'll let.
Here's the thing about meat smokers, though. You will not need Maz to tell you. If Terry's ribs are better, I'll tell you. I mean, that's the thing about smokers. I mean, seriously, we're an honest bunch. If you eat something that's better,
Terry?
Yes.
If you eat something that's better,
I've been a smoker for like 5-6 years.
Terry, what did you do? That's going to be my first question to Terry. What did you do? I mean, so that's kind of funny about the smoking fam, if you will. We're all pretty honest about it. You nailed that point.
So, question: how long do you usually have to let it smoke for, and what temperature you usually use when you do your ribs?
I'm intrigued. Terry, you go first.
I'm 4 hours, usually about 4.5 hours at 225, and so that's what I do. But I have this rub that I got from Memphis, and sometimes I put honey on them. And now you don't grill your ribs, do you? You look like a griller.
I'm a griller.
Okay, brother. We need to upgrade you. You need to smoke that stuff.
I'm a griller.
I got your back. I told you.
Yeah. I mean, Sean's been telling me this for weeks now to come to his house, and he'll
I got
just
your
bring
back.
bring him what I wanted, then he'll make it.
Yep.
Do it. You need to do it.
And Terry, we didn't talk about I'm a Memphis guy all day. Give me that Memphis dry rub. If I do a good job with my meat, you don't need no damn sauce. If you want sauce, you can have sauce. But if I do a good job with that meat and that good rub, to me, it's like, why am I going to disrespect
I'm a sauce guy, so I need the sauce.
Do what you need to do. But I
like that thick. I like when the sauce kind of sticks to the meat, not run. You know how it sticks to when you grill it, and it kind of.
Yeah.
What we can do for young Joik Bell is smoke it, and then you can put it on the grill for like 3-4 minutes on each side with the barbecue sauce on it. It sticks on there, but you're still getting that smoke, but you're getting the barbecue sauce too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you just glaze it on and you kind of baste it in. What he's doing is similar to what I'm doing. 225, 250. You're talking 4.5 hours. Pork ribs are different than beef ribs. If I do beef ribs, there's no uniform cook time. Like one rib might be done in 5 hours, another rib might be 6.5 hours. But pork ribs are different.
I haven't done the beef ribs yet. The thing that I did do is I did a prime rib.
Love it.
And it was delicious. And here's the key: it wasn't white people's prime rib. Cause y'all, seriously, y'all like everything rare and red and bloody and stuff. We like our meat cooked a little bit, so I was able to let it go beyond medium rare and everything. And these things were so good. Who's we?
I love it.
I'm a corporation.
That's the way. I mean, to me, it's communal living. You come over my house, we're going to take care of you. What do you want? We're going to take care of you, and that's the way that I look at it.
My sister said, "Not young, Joik Bill."
Young, everybody's young to me, man.
Beef short ribs are my that's my jam. Dave just brought it up. Beef short ribs. You know what it is? It is.
What is it, Sean?
It is a high end. It is a high end pot roast. Do you like pot roast? It's a high end pot roast.
You know what it is? It's Fred Flintstone.
Yes.
It's the big bones where it flips over his car.
Yep.
Those things are huge.
Yep.
Hey,
beef short ribs.
Hey, Art, when your wife barbecues, like, what does she do?
We don't barbecue.
When you guys smoke, what do you guys do?
What do you mean when we do meats? Just burger and chicken, and I'm not an expert in this field. You're asking the wrong guy. Look at me.
Oh, we need to upgrade that brother too.
Yeah, we need to upgrade. No, I'm not that bad.
I know you're not.
Hey, you know what? Art, I have an extra grill at the house if you need a grill.
I don't believe you, but thank you.
I have an extra grill.
I just don't believe your niceness. Your Terry's here. You're gonna do something.
So this is all fake.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's fake love.
You admits
Joik
it.
just looked at Terry. Yeah, it's all fake. That's beautiful. No. Terry, what do you think about what the Lions are doing?
For the first time in my life, the Lions seem like a real organization. The Lions have been set up on boys hooking up boys since the 60s. William Clay Ford Sr., his first general manager was Russ Thomas, his drinking buddy. So then Russ Thomas fucks up the organization for 32 years. Then he chooses his buddy, Chuck Schmidt. That's the next GM. Then Edinger kicks a 54-yard field goal, and so they bring in Matt Millen. Why did they bring in Matt Millen? I know you're looking at me funny. They didn't bring him in to win the championships. They didn't bring him. They brought in Matt because he was a nice guy. People in the league like him and everything. That's not a reason to bring in somebody.
Talk about investing in your relationships.
I know, but what does it do for the team?
Hey.
One of the worst organizations in all of pro sports. Because what don't we like? Boys hooking up boys. We always say, bring in the best people. This is the first time where I don't know if Dan Campbell's the right guy. I don't know if Holmes is the right guy. But they did a legitimate search.
Yep.
I know they brought in 6 and 7 people. This is really the first time. This is not boys hooking up boys.
Right. No form of nepotism here.
Right.
I like that.
Then who was the next person to replace Matt Millen? Martin Mayhew. Now, Martin Mayhew worked under Matt Millen, and I knew he was going to be a disaster. They had some press conference at Ford Field, and one thing about Matt, I was ripping him in the paper because I just said this guy is just the worst that I've ever seen. But he never took it personally.
Never.
One time, we're leaving this press conference. He said, Foster, I got something to tell you. And I said, what? Martin Mayhew, this guy's a stud. From that point forward, I'm like, okay, Martin Mayhew must suck. If Matt Millen is saying he's a stud, there's got to be something wrong with this brother. And you know me, I'm all about let's give black people a break because we're upset, we're oppressed in this country. But at that point, I'm like, I can't get with Martin Mayhew. So they hired Martin Mayhew, blah, blah. This time, though, they found Brad.
So you didn't like
Holmes.
Martin?
Huh?
You don't like Martin Mayhew?
Not leading my team. I like Martin Mayhew as a person because we
He brought us some great talent here.
Okay, how many games they win?
11-5 twice, playoffs twice. We didn't win any playoff games.
Okay.
But we had a good team.
All right, you got to win a playoff game to get my attention. Because
is that all you want? You just want playoff wins?
I actually have low standards for the Detroit Lions. All I want is I will get off of their ass if they win a playoff game. And that's a low standard.
Does that sound familiar, Joy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That sounds very familiar.
I'm the same way, Terry.
No, you're not the same way. You don't want any playoff wins. You want a Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. But you have to start with the playoff win, and then you build up.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Right.
no
Progress.
doubt.
The progress. Okay.
Let's crawl before we walk. The other thing I don't like about the Lions is I hear this: we can win football games. I don't hear people talking about we want to win a championship. To me, we can beat anybody on any Sunday. Well, so what? That's all the NFL. And what has happened, this fan base, I think, has become soft. This fan base doesn't have expectations for this team. If they beat Green Bay, it's like, damn, we're like this for a whole month. We feel good.
No, we like that for 24 hours.
Well, no. Okay, that's y'all. But I'll tell you, the greatest victory the Lions have had in the last probably 6-8 years was a loss. The Kansas City loss at Ford Field because they played them close and almost won. But bottom line is you lost. You lost a regular season game. And when you look at pro sports, the better teams, when they go on the road, they're like, okay, let's just keep this shit close, and then let's take over at the end so we can win this game. It's exactly what Kansas City did. But here in Detroit, we're like, damn, they're close. Here they come. They almost beat Kansas City. This fan base is pathetic. And the organization, the one word I'm dare anybody to say, and I haven't heard it yet, is talking about championships. We want to win a championship. We brought these people in to win a championship.
It's going to take time.
Aim high.
But you can't talk about it. You can't think it.
Aim high.
Right.
No. Are you talking about this season or in the future?
Period.
Yeah. Well, that's why we brought him here to win a championship. But
Joy,
it's not going to.
You know what, though? Like, to me, and Terry, I don't know if you and I have ever had this conversation. What you said to me is music to my ears because I am somebody, I cannot stand the revisionist history. We've been so beaten down where in 2017, Jim Caldwell went 9-7. They missed the playoffs. He lost his job. That's not good enough. Period. End of story, okay?
Right.
What happens here in Detroit is because we've been so beaten down is 2 years later, after 2 years of Patricia, people go, well, that 9-7 wasn't so bad. No, it's still bad. It's better than Matt Patricia. There's no doubt about it. But it's still not good enough. And that's what's always driven me nuts about this town is it's almost like Matt Millen. Here we were year seven in the Millen regime. And they went 7-9. And people were celebrating it. Well, it's progress. Don't you want progress? Here's a guy that took over a team, as you mentioned, that only missed the playoffs because Paul Enninger hit a 54-yard field
And that
goal.
team was 9-7, by the way.
Yes, and that we didn't even get back to that glorious high water mark of 9-7. So that's what I tell Joik all the time. To me, it's we as a fan base have to up our expectations.
Hear me out, Sean. I agree with you. All right, 9-7 isn't good enough when you're not winning playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to the playoffs, you win the playoff games, you at least get to the Super Bowl. That's good to me. You're the
sure.
They always say you're either first or you're last, right? But if we're the Detroit Lions, given our history, we make it to the Super Bowl, I'll be happy with that. I want to win it all, obviously, right? When you have a coach that goes 9-7, takes you to the playoffs, he's a 9-7 football coach overall, and then you say that isn't good enough, and then you bring in a whole other guy, and you don't even reach that mark again, right? And you're living and dying with this coach, then that's on you, right? And now when that's on you, now not only is he getting released, but you're leaving with him, right? You brought him in. You leave with them, right? You're responsible.
Mm-hmm.
You put your name on the line for him. This is what happens. And I tell you, when in this league and in this game with the Lions franchise, I think we're done with that. I think Sheila Ford came and said that she's going to do what's best for this organization here on out. We're going to bring in football minds, people who played the game, all right? And so I think, like you said, I love what they're doing. It hasn't been done yet. I don't think this has ever been done in any team history. And if so, correct me if I'm wrong. But it's a sit back and watch. But I'm very optimistic as this plays out, right? Bringing in the different coaches, bringing in the different minds, and what they're doing to get more draft picks. And he needs these draft picks to do what he's best at, and he's getting there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, once again, what did Quinn do? Brought his boy in. Mm-hmm. Matt Patricia's my boy. I worked with him. I know him, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't work. Bring in the best guy. You know what it is, though? Then, when a guy goes to another location, he usually has his set of guys that he's worked with, and he know what they're capable of. So I know what I'm going to get out of him. I know what system I've been in my entire career, and it's worked here. And hopefully he can bring that same type of success and that same type of culture over to here. And so to him, he was probably a proven guy. His homeboy also a proven guy because he's only been part of a winning organization. You know what I'm saying? And so, what do you do? What you were sold on when he came? Rooney Rule in the NFL?
Yes.
You couldn't bring a brother in just to interview him?
Yeah.
I used to make the joke all the time, like Dennis Green was on retainer. Like somebody, let's call the late Dennis Green. Let's call Dennis Green, and at least we did our due diligence.
Right.
That, Terry, to me, that was, and Joik, that's something you and I do your due diligence. Talk to 100 different. I don't give a damn.
And they did that this go around.
And that's why to Terry's point, I don't want to put words in Terry's mouth. That's what makes this different. Is they did their due diligence.
No, you can put those words in my mouth. I'll own that. It's probably gonna blow up in my face, but you know what? I'm gonna own it. Mm-hmm. The Lions are 2-14 5 years ago. Out from now, I'll just say, you know what? I messed up. I misread it. But I like what they're doing because it's different.
Yep.
It's like a real NFL franchise.
All right, let me ask you this question. Do you think Nine is the greatest quarterback of all time? This is a question in here. So ask Terry his thoughts on Nine as the greatest Lions QB of all time.
He is. But that's kind of sad.
It's not saying much.
No, it's not saying much. Because then, I thought the best quarterbacks in Lions history was Gary Danielson, Greg Landry, and that's not saying much. Mm-mm. But Matthew Stafford, he is the best quarterback you've had. He's better than Bobby Lane because they didn't pass the ball back then, and Bobby Lane didn't actually win the championship. But he is. But it shows where this franchise is. Stafford put up a lot of numbers. He did. But I'll say this about Matthew Stafford. You know what his biggest problem is? Plays for the Detroit Lions. If he played for the Chicago Bears, Minnesota, or Green Bay for 12 years, he'd have multiple playoff victories.
I agree with that.
He's got 0 because he played with the Lions. That's his biggest detriment.
I agree with that. Terry, you know what the biggest thing is? And this goes back to Joik, I've said this. We in Detroit compare the Lions to the Lions. Well, when your comparison level is this high.
Yes.
Okay, Gary Danielson, Chuck Long, Rodney P. Of course Matthew Stafford's better than all of them.
Right.
The long debate in this town, and it's driven me nuts, okay? You have two sides, and it's like everything else in life today, Terry, it's extremes. You have Stafford sucks over here, and Stafford's great over here. And I've said forever, you're both wrong. He's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's a good quarterback, but he doesn't suck and he's not great. When you compare him to what else has been here in Detroit, of course he's going to compare favorably.
But what are the Rams saying? The Rams are saying he can win playoff games. Yep. The Rams are saying he can bring us a championship. That's why they gave up draft picks and their starting quarterback for him. They look in here and say, you know what? Lions. He's playing for the Lions. That's what's holding him back. He's going to come here. We're going to give him good coaching. We're going to surround him with players, and he's going to win us a championship. That's what they're betting on. It might be a gamble. They might lose, but if I'm in their position, I would have done the same thing.
I would have as well. It's one of those deals. It's a rare win-win, and I really feel that way. By the way, Grow Green's Dank Deals program rolls on with deep discounts on the grow gear you're looking for. Crazy deals like GH Flora Bloom, 6 gallons for $50, Gavita Flex 750 systems for just $250, and Green Cleaner Quartz for only $49. Head to growgreenmi.com to score a dank deal today. Grow Green knows that your time is money and is best spent in the garden. That's why they offer Michigan $50 flat rate shipping, where they'll bring any size order anywhere in the state for just $50. Remember to mention Woodward Sports for a free shirt as well. When we come back, Terry, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the Pistons, because I think there are a lot of similarities with what's going on with the Pistons and Troy Weaver and what the Lions are trying to do. I'm going to ask Terry his thoughts on that when we come back. Terry Foster, so cool of T to be in the house with us. Of course, he's Joik Bell. We're always pleased to have him. I'm just Sean. I'm glad you can join us on Woodward
Just
Sports.
Sean.
Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
All right, somebody made a comment when you were telling the Doug Collins story. Somebody said, well, Latrell Sprewell evidently didn't care about his check. So nice memory recall there. I completely forgot about the Latrell Sprewell.
Spree was nuts, though, man.
Yeah,
he was nuts.
I didn't say that, Mr. Sprewell, by the way. T, what you were just talking about with the Lions is the way that I look at Troy Weaver and the Pistons. I don't know if Troy Weaver's going to work. I really don't, okay? What I do know is the way that they have operated for a dozen years has been awful. They haven't had a playoff win. I mean, going back to May of 2008, it's almost 13 years, not a series, a playoff win. So what I can definitively tell you is they've been, I always use this analogy, a hamster on the wheel. Sometimes they're running really fast, but they're not going anywhere. Troy Weaver's coming in and saying, this hasn't worked, let's try something different. You had the hoops beat for a long, long time with the Detroit News. What's your take on what you're seeing out of Troy Weaver?
All right. I am sort of happy that they're losing because with the Pistons, their whole mentality was let's get that 8th playoff spot. So what?
Yep.
You made the 8th playoff spot, so now you're going to get bombed by Milwaukee 4 straight times. And they always say, well, it builds characters, the players learn from it. They didn't learn a damn thing because then the next year they would miss the playoffs. It didn't matter. I just don't believe that you get much as an athlete if the team that you're playing is so much better than you that you're not even competitive. Now, if you can field a number 8 team and you sneak in there and you can play Milwaukee and extend in the 6 games, maybe you learn something. Okay, we learn how to win a couple games. We learn our mistakes from losing close games in the last 4 or 5 minutes. But when they're up on you by 20 at halftime, you're not learning anything. So what Troy Weaver has said basically is, okay, we're going to have to break this down. We'll get our asses kicked, but maybe we can bring in some talent. I like that approach because at some point, if you know what you're doing, and I'm sure Weaver has the experience, he's done this before, that at some point he's going to bring in talent and make the Pistons a competitive team. But in the NBA, you sort of got to take your medicine for a while. People forget the Lakers took their medicine for about 6 or 7 years. Pistons have done it. They went from bad boy champions to going to work Pistons. It took a long time, but they did it. And it's a very unforgiving league. And but now they're taking their medicine like the Wings are doing, and hopefully Troy Weaver and Steve Eisenman. See, I think their jobs are pretty similar. You want to bring in enough talent so that it doesn't look like the Ontario Hockey League or something below that. You have to bring in some type of NHL and NBA talent, but you don't want it to be too good because you're not going to win anything, and you're not even close to the top talent. Right. So I like what he's doing. It's painful for fans. I know you don't like it, but I'm the believer that take your medicine and try to rise from the ashes a few years down the road.
I think it's great. And it's funny you bring up Yzerman, and I know some people have been crying about Steve Yzerman. I'm a firm believer if you listen to a general manager, he's going to tell you what you're looking for. It's not even 2 years since he was retired, and he told everybody in that press conference, guys, this is going to be long. There's a lot of hard work to go. And we're not even 2 years later, and people are going, what the hell? Why are we where we're at? And to me, you can't make chicken salad with chicken shit. And that's what the Red Wings have had for a couple years. And I'm convinced it's by design. Let's okay, we're going to get those high picks. We're going to bring them along the right way. And in a couple years, we don't want to just, to Terry's point, get in and go, ooh, we gave the number 1 seed a scare. Aren't we cute, pinch their cheek? It's, no, we want to get the Red Wings back to that level that we're all accustomed to and them being at for such a long, prolonged period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hockey is a little bit different because that 8th seed has beaten the 1 seed before.
Totally.
NBA, you have no shot.
No shot whatsoever.
You're gonna get rolled for 6 games. You might win 1 game. So, but I think the Wings. Now, how many drafts has Heisman had? 2.
2.
Are any of those guys even playing on the team?
Here? No. Nope.
So in the NHL, I think it's a little bit different. You draft guys, you send them away to somewhere for like 3 or 4 years. I don't know where the hell they go. And then you bring them in. You start bringing these guys. He's not even bringing his people in yet. And
just Zadina. You're seeing some Zadina, but he's a young player, and I think everybody knows the skill sets there.
That's
and that's
1.
Yeah. Yep. That's about it. And that's where you're absolutely right. And whether a guy goes back to his junior team, the Ontario Hockey League, or he goes back to college for a couple of years, that's usually, unless you're a stud 18-year-old, like a guy by the name of Steve Yzerman, chances are you're going back to your junior team or your college, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, Steve Yzerman can't draft Steve Yzerman because that guy comes along every 20, 25 years.
Can't do that.
So
yeah, it's fascinating because Terry, I say this all the time. There is no era that I can compare this to in my lifetime being here. In the late 70s, and guys like Terry and I that have been around, in the late 70s, it wasn't even this bad. This is as bad as it's been in my lifetime with the four sports. In the late 70s, at least you'd get a little flirtation by one team or the other, and the Lions might get cute and go 8-8 and nearly make the playoffs or anything, but this is as low as I've seen it in my lifetime for the four major sports.
Yeah, it is. And it's been this way for a decade, really, when you look at it. If you're in bad shape when last year we were talking about what pro team has the best shot at winning a championship. A lot of people brought up the Lions. If you're talking about the Lions as the best shot at winning, you're in trouble. It's like, whoa. it is bleak around here.
Yeah, it's bleak, huh? Speaking of championships, right, we have the Super Bowl coming up, all right? We have the Chiefs versus the Bucks. And we all know that once you get into, like, this realm, distractions start to come in, whether it's, although we call it white noise, the things that don't matter, things that do matter that you have to put on hold, and you have players who have to deal with these type of things, day in, day out, weeks upon coming up on the Super Bowl. One of those players being Antonio Brown. All right. There's a lot of people saying that Antonio Brown doesn't get it. He still doesn't get it. He did a press conference where he was asked about some sex allegations that might have came out, might have sparked. His reply was, let me get this. I'll be doing a disservice if I talked about things that are not a focus on this game. I've been through some things, but that's life. Brown Wednesday said that we all have a story. We all have to allow ourselves to grow for the betterment of ourselves. I'm just grateful for the journey. I want my legacy to be a guy that was persistent, a guy that never gave up, no matter the odds, no matter the hate. How do you feel about that?
I thought that was the appropriate answer because I
felt like that answer was something that he knew was going to come. And so he was prepped on, this is how you respond to it. And I he responded great. I think the response was great.
Yeah, because I don't get it as a journalist, but there must be something to the sauce because particularly when you go to the Super Bowl, there's certain things that athletes don't want to talk about. They'll talk about the game and everything, but you bring up off the field, the first thing out of their mouth is, I don't want to be a distraction. I don't want this to affect how I or how my guy next to me is going to play. And I never got if you just talk about it on a Tuesday, how's that going to affect you on a Sunday? But athletes believe it, so there must be something to it.
Yeah, and you're not going to talk about something that's going through court in the media on air.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. On the field, I mean, that's anyone, not just an athlete, just in general. You don't speak about a case until, you go through the court system, you go through the proper channels. So I think it was a great answer. For the people, I think the journalist who asked that question, I think he was just trying to do his job, but that wasn't the right place and right time. And if I'm like a team media person, he'll never have another meeting with any more of our players.
We've talked about Terry, and I mean, Terry's a real journalist, okay? I don't ever want to go cover a Super Bowl again. I think it's. I'm
Cover a
serious.
Super Bowl? How to cover a Super Bowl or do media row?
I don't want to do media row. I don't want to cover the Super Bowl. If I go to a Super Bowl, I told you, the only time I go to a Super Bowl, and this is where, I've been smoking crack, is when the Lions are there. I'll find a way to get there as a fan. But as a quote-unquote member of the media and the circus that is Radio Row and Media Day and all that, I want no part of it.
Ask you this question.
Yeah.
Detroit is on the comeback, right? Mm-hmm. City is on the comeback, correct? Say 10 years from now where all the development is done downtown, everything is done, the Hudson site is up, the apartments in Brush Park are done, they finished up Midtown, New Center area. All these areas are done up. Now we have enough hotel rooms to host a huge event. And say the Super Bowl comes back here in, say, 10 years, right? And the Lions happen to make it to the Super Bowl, similar to like what Tampa is doing, what the Bucs is doing in Tampa. How much are you willing to pay for a Super Bowl ticket? And you're going to buy 2 because your son is going to want to go. And it's going to be the first time in the history that we've ever been to the Super Bowl. How much are you willing to pay for a ticket? Is it a price point on there, or is it priceless? Are you willing to pay $100,000 for 2 tickets?
No.
No, I'd pay $10 because I know the Lions are going to get blown out.
Hey.
No, but you know what? As a father,
And if
you brought up the father thing, you would get pressure from your son.
Absolutely.
Dad, I want to go see this.
Absolutely.
I'm a cheapskate. So I wouldn't go anywhere beyond, for the 2 tickets, maybe $2,500. That's as far as I want to go.
For 2 tickets?
Yeah. You can get them for $700 now, if you know the right people. But see, I don't do the scalper stuff.
$700 for what?
For Super Bowl tickets. That's what they went for here in Detroit. Now
that wasn't Detroit playing though.
I know, but it was at Ford Field.
It was at Ford, but it wasn't Detroit playing.
I know, but
it matters the teams that are playing what drives the price point.
So
up
you
on
have
tickets.
to ask him. So I'm in that game. I don't go for the Lions are here, I'm going to pay more for it. Super Bowl is the Super Bowl for me.
No, it's not.
I would look. I mean, you have to be within reason. Would I do something like $10,000?
A ticket
for 2 tickets?
No.
I wouldn't do $10,000 a ticket. I
Yes,
couldn't. I couldn't do it. No,
if you knew, say the Lions were one year they made it to the playoffs, made it to the second round. The next year they made it to the AFC Championship game, and next year we got some more pieces to the team. We say, you know what, we can do it now. You wouldn't start saving for a Super Bowl?
I would love to be there, but I'm with Terry, and I couldn't go much. I just couldn't. Because you know what, the party's going to be the party. We're going to party for 2 days. I mean, it's
but
everybody.
To be there,
and then the world ends.
And
then hell freezes over.
And then you take you take your son, and that's a memory that you guys will always cherish for the rest of your life. You can't put a price on memories.
No,
you can't put a price on experience. You can't put a price on your son. You grew your son up being a Lions fan, and you guys have been waiting for this. You guys have been dogging the Lions for decades. And now the one opportunity you get to what Steve Eisman say, Daddy's home, everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna get back there to the glory days. Now we didn't ever have glory days. We're just getting to the glory days. You're not going to pay $20,000 for 2 tickets.
No, I can't do it. Can't justify it.
Yeah, and I'm the wrong guy to ask because I don't care about the Lions that much. And I think partially.
Hey, Art, man.
I don't.
Who brought Terry on?
I don't.
Who brought Terry on today, Art?
But that is part of the journalism thing. We don't cheer in the press box. We don't root for you guys. We don't root against you. But it's like, okay, when I go to a game, it says, give me a good performance. Give me something to write about. I'm not there saying, come on, boy, go between the tackles and do this and blah, blah, blah.
Here's a great Chad, our buddy Chad. Are you familiar with Chad Johnson, Lady Jane's? He said, I'd pay $50,000 for 2.
See, Chadwick's got money.
Yeah, he does. A little bit. My buddy Mike, and you guys would be invited to this, Mike said, I'm still looking for my ticket to Sean's house for the Lions Super Bowl. Priceless. I'd have the biggest blowout in the history. I would invite Terry over. I would find a way to put Terry's Traeger on the back of my truck.
Now, Carol.
We would have the greatest party in the history of
how many
mankind.
slabs of ribs
Carol
would I have
Thomas
to
said
make?
she'll pay $5,000 for two tickets. Now, if you know someone, right? If you know a player on the team, right? If you know a player on the team that's not playing, right? And yeah, listen, I'll buy your tickets for you. And they say, listen, you can buy my tickets, and he's like a rookie or something. You might be able to buy his tickets for $5,000 to sit in the nosebleeds, like in the upper deck, like where, like if you look behind you, it's a wall, right?
In the end zone,
right?
Right.
It's, somewhere like they have like you got like the first section, you got the 200, you got the 300. Do they got a 500 level? Do they have a 500 level? I don't think they have.
Yeah, it's called the press box.
The press box.
Yeah.
That's
It's
more like the
700
700
Right.
level.
Hey, so that'll be the only time. You know what though? You can do it for free. You know why? Because they'll be here. You might be able to cover the game.
There's no way in hell I'd do that. No, I mean, no. That
You won't cover
day,
the game?
I wouldn't want to cover the. You know what, Terry? That day, I'm going to revert to 15-year-old Sean. I am going to have the biggest barbecue ever, and when they win, what I'm going to do at my house, I can't do at Ford Field. I am going to get so unbelievably drunk. Like honest,
you have 2 days to do
double-fisting and
that.
everything.
You can do that after the game.
No.
You're there.
No, but you know what? I told you, and Terry, I want to get your take. It's you even told me, like, press row, it's a joke. I mean, it's a madhouse there. I don't want anything to do with covering a Super Bowl again. If my boss said you have to go, that's different. If you're asking me, do you want to cover a Super Bowl? No way. I don't want anything to do with that. Did you feel that way?
It's very difficult to cover. My best thing about the Super Bowl was the week leading up to it, because when I went to Super Bowls, I got there either Monday or Sunday night. Now, media day was a pain in the ass.
Yep.
They had like a little scrum that not many people went to on Sunday night when the teams got in. That was pretty cool. But my best Super Bowl memories are going to the Super Bowl party that they had either, I think it was Friday night.
Super Bowl parties.
Right. And
what parties did you go to?
The one that cost $1 million or something.
Which one?
The commissioner's party.
No.
Damn, you got into that, T?
Yeah. I went to the
Ooh.
commissioner's party like 6 years.
No kidding.
Yeah. In fact, one year, what's my man? Little Greasy.
Brian Greasy.
Little Brian Greasy. It was the year that he graduated from Michigan. So I went to pick up my commissioner's party tickets. And so I'm talking to Greasy because he's kind of remembered me from the team. And he wanted to know, could he go to the commissioner's party? So I said, let me talk to this lady. So I talked to her. I said, this dude is Brian Greasy. He's going to be in the league next year. Can we get him a ticket to go? So she looks up some stuff. She punches some tickets. And she turns to me and says, when your friend makes the league, we'll get him in. Until then, he can't go.
Damn.
So I was like, damn.
Here's a national champion winning quarterback,
Right.
man. Damn.
Wasn't in the league, so he couldn't go. He wasn't a sponsor, so I was like, damn. So I thought I could get him in. I said, sorry about that, Brian, but and he showed up the next day, and I tried to get him in, and whoever the woman was there wouldn't let him in.
No
but
kidding.
that party is a killer.
I mean, every party at the Super Bowl is a killer. You got to be on the list. Got to have a ticket. I mean, you have all the parties from. You got the commissioner party. You got the NFL party. You got the NFLPA party. You have the ESPN party. I think Sports Centers might have
That's
a party.
the one I went to.
You have
EA Sports.
EA
has a really good one.
Sports. Madden has a party.
I know you went to the Playboy party.
Playboy has a party. GQ has a party. DirecTV had a. Do you remember when they had the Super Bowl in New York? In New York.
Yeah.
I did a play on Broadway. They had DirecTV had a party. Comcast, and DirecTV, they went all out. They had Beyonce and Jay-Z before me.
No shit.
It was crazy. Oh, it was crazy.
I went to the ESPN party here, and it was off the hook. It was really cool.
Yeah, they
It
go
was
out.
really, really cool.
Then they have and then we was telling Art about like how they have like the different rooms, like the Nike room, the Under Armour room, the Adidas room, where you basically go into these brands. They'll rent out a location. Depending on where they are, it might be a huge mansion, it might be a retail spot, a pop-up, but they'll get these big things, and you go there, and say you go to, I was with Nike, I was signed with Nike, I would go to Nike, I would see all the new things that they had that was about to come out, they had a few items there that will be your size. They give you and whoever you with like a big Nike gift bag that you'll leave out with. So you got a whole bunch of Nike swag, and they call it swag bags. You walk out with your swag bag, and you have like a whole like bags of stuff with you walking out of each different brand. Like Beat by Dre, I went to Beat by Dre. They had $1 million headphones in there that was covered in diamonds. Damn. It was like some $1 million headphones.
How many pair did you get?
Huh?
How many pair did you get?
Well, they gave me one pair. Right,
the $1 million ones?
No, they didn't give me anything.
Got
me anything. Got him, coach. Got him, coach.
I'm just glad it's not me.
But no, they'll give you some type of swag before you leave. But you have to it's not like you can just walk in there. You have to be on the list. So it's like a not a fraternity, but it's kind of like a
who's who.
Yeah, like who's who, basically. Who's who? Who are you with? And so they'll have my name on the list because I'm one of their athletes. So I might have like 2 to 4 people I can bring with me to this event.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Yeah. And so I'm done playing now, but I'm still with my agency, so I still got a little clout. And then I'm on Woodward Sports Network, and everybody knows I know Sean. So that gets me in. That gets me in.
That gets you somewhere.
The only downfall about knowing Sean, they also know I know Art, and they kind of like I'm on the fence.
You know what? No, it does pay to know Sean. This dude can get you a Hunter House, the best seat in Hunter House if you want. Just say, hey, I know Sean Baligian. They're like, oh, come on in, get a double cheeseburger.
Hey, I know, cheesy radio, and Terry and I have both done cheesy radio in the past and everything. And hey, we wait for our Super Bowl picks until Friday. We're going to tease it all week and everything.
Do it again.
Hey, we'll give you those Super Bowl picks on Friday.
Did you tell people we almost did a show together?
No, I've not. You know what? I don't think I've never publicized that. That's one of those.
Yeah, you probably want to keep that under wraps.
No, you know what? I can't tell you how excited I was. Terry and I were supposed to do a radio show going back to 2001. We were both told we were going to do a radio show, and then it didn't happen.
That lasted for 2 days.
Yeah.
We found out we were doing the show on Friday. By Sunday, the person who said we're doing a show said, I never said that.
Yeah, it was true story. Like, I was so excited. I mean, seriously, I was very excited. And so on Friday, that's what I was told. And then on Sunday, we were both told we didn't hear what we were told, and it didn't happen. And so it didn't happen. But we crossed paths a bunch of times over the years at that particular radio station. See, one guy, my buddy from the butchery, mention Sean at my store and you get a discount. There you go. Go into the butchery.
Bam.
Go pick up something. No, but Terry, with Terry Foster in the house, it's Thursdays with T. Foss. Terry, I'd be remiss if I didn't get your take on the Super Bowl before you get out of here, because you've already been so gracious with your time, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What's your take on the Super Bowl?
All right, my take is this. It is time for the young gun, Patrick Mahomes. He has to knock Tom Brady out the box. Not only must he, and he will play well, but he must beat him, and this is his time to destroy him and make us forget about Tom Brady. I think Kansas City will get off to a rough start, but I think they're going to roll Tampa. Roll them.
You think?
The only thing that makes me hesitant is those dudes on it's not Tom Brady. It's those defensive players on Tampa. Those dudes are mean motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's the thing that scares me. Mm-hmm. But I think they'll get it rolling at some point, and they'll beat them by 10.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Hey, when we come back, Brady or Belichick, you think they're competing with each other? Who's responsible for the past success? Hey, our thoughts when we come back.
it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
No, all jokes aside, Art, that is a true story. I don't think either Terry and I talked about that. Terry and I, in a different lifetime. I mean, you're talking almost 20 years ago now, right? It was 20 years ago, right around this time. We were approached, asked if we wanted to do a radio show together. We both gleefully agreed because we, I guess the best way to say it is we liked each other. And so we were told on a Friday, you guys are the new show. And then by the time Sunday night happened, I don't know what happened between Friday and Sunday night. We were told, no, you're not a show, and I never said that. And Terry and I were both like, huh? Gotcha. So that's a true story. True story. So Terry and I did some, shows as we overlapped years ago at my old radio station, The Fan, and everything. But then he moved on to 1270, which of course became 97.1. But always had a great time with Terry, and appreciate him coming in here. Guys like Terry, you can't put a price tag on what they've had the opportunity to see, what they've had an opportunity to cover, and he's done it in all facets of the business, as a writer, as a radio guy, as a television guy. So him being added to the mix here at Woodward Sports, we're all the better for it. Joik, by the way, before I forget, what Terry's thoughts on the Super Bowl don't differ too much from mine. I think I use the Star Wars analogy. Are you familiar with Star Wars?
A little bit.
The teacher is going to be overcome by the apprentice. The circle will be complete.
So the teacher will be teaching the teacher.
I think Joik, Tom Brady's going to leave too much time on the clock, and Patrick Mahomes is going to Brady. I think that Kansas City wins a tight game. I think they get. Now the spread terrifies me.
What's the record right now between them two? Is it 2-2 right now?
It's 2-2.
2-2. Listen, the spread terrifies me. The 3.5. I'm saying 34-31 in this. Now, some places it's 3, some places it's 3.5. I'll be interested to see where the movement is. I'll talk to my betting insider, Mike Ivesil, if he's still out there. But I'll tell you what. Mike just asked, are you guys making your picks Friday? Honestly, I think that Tom Brady leaves too much time on the clock, and Patrick Mahomes takes Kansas City right down the field, and they win the game by 3. Hi, Art.
Hi, how are you? How much is the pocket game in this? When you look at Tom Brady, and I mentioned this in the Morning Woodward show, he plays a very tight pocket to where Mahomes is out. I mean, he's back yards behind. How much does that play into effect with the result of the game? Because to me, it seems like Mahomes can throw those longer passes when he's got more room outside of the pocket compared to Tom Brady just plays that tight pocket game. What are your thoughts on that?
Who was the coach? I saw this a couple weeks ago and I was laughing, and I'm going to kick myself for not remembering who it was. But Art, it's funny you bring that up. A coach said, "Don't be fooled by his old man walk." Patrick Mahomes tries to sell to you that he's not as quick and as athletic as he is, and it's funny because I saw a coach kind of call him out publicly. And telling the opposition, don't be fooled by his old. Patrick Mahomes can do things with his legs, man. And he's one of those guys, Joik, he doesn't look like he's moving, and then he's by you. I will say this to anybody who's ever listened. Randy Moss was the king of that. Randy Moss doesn't look like a fast guy. He just doesn't. And then you see those strides, and the next thing you know, he's too. It was Saleh. Thank you, Mike. I thought that was a fantastic. I thought that was an absolutely fantastic quote from Robert Saleh talking about don't be fooled by his old man walk. To your point, Art, and I saw you shaking your head when I said that I thought they win a close one. I think that's a big factor in a game like this. I really do.
I think that with Brady's experience, he might let them lead until halftime. and then just decide, you know what, I'm going to take this game back. And I think he's going to really turn it on. I say halftime lead by the Chiefs. Brady and Tampa Bay closing out the show with a very, very close victory. But, it's crazy when you think about it. It is like the student versus the teacher. They're both 2-2. It's this is possibly the most anticipated Super Bowl game that I've known of for a very long time.
Here's the thing about the Super Bowl that is, to me, and Joik, as a player, you can speak on this.
All right.
The Super Bowl, we can break it down in so many different ways. We can analyze it in so many different angles. But what I have seen in Super Bowls is all it takes is one little thing, and that script is turned upside down. That bad turnover, that pick six, that kick return for a touchdown, and all of a sudden, everything that somebody thought just turns into a waterfall of pain for one team. I think that's why we see so many blowouts in Super Bowls. I really do. It's almost like when one bad thing happens, here it comes, and they can't stop it from happening. Just a non-player's opinion on that, Joy.
I'm gonna tell you this. So I've never played in the Super Bowl, but obviously I've been in close contact with people who have been to the Super Bowl. And one thing I will always ask them: what is it like playing in the Super Bowl? Is it different from a regular season game? Is it heightened? Is the locker room different? Like how is it different from a regular season game in the Super Bowl, or even a playoff game to the Super Bowl? He said, and you know what he told me? He said that for the first quarter, from the first play, the first quarter, like everyone is playing at this level here, right? And then once it gets around the second quarter, it goes from the Super Bowl to being a regular game, and you have to play your game. I said, okay, all right. He said, but with all the hoopla and you watch the kickoff and you see all the lights flashing on the kickoff, he said it's an amazing feeling. And so you have these butterflies, and after that first hit, now we're into it, and we're hitting hard. There's no let up. That time where you might, run down the sideline and get out of bounds. You might stay in bounds and just go head up with that safety coming down. And, I've always played like that, though. I've always played like that. So I guess I've always played like I was in the Super Bowl. So.
Did you look? No, let me ask you something. No, it's funny you say that. I mean, I've seen your intensity. I'll agree with it.
Yeah.
I'm not obviously asking you to mention any names. Did you see guys buckle under pressure? Did you ever see it?
In the Super Bowl?
No, just in games that you played. In big games, did you see pressure get to people? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not going to mention any names to you, but I've been told that there were a couple guys that you played with that for whatever reason, when the lights shone bright,
some games when the lights did, they showed out.
Okay.
Sometimes you can see it in a person's eyes. It's weird to say. You can look in a person's eyes and you can see if they checked out. And there's been a couple of times I listened to my teammates' eyes. I can tell they checked out.
Do you try to smack them into reality? Seriously, like say, stay with me here. We need you, big dog. Anything like that?
No, we don't do that.
You can't do it?
We need you, big dog. I love it.
Did you like that?
Nah.
Come on, big dog.
Come on.
Sean's trying to use that football talk.
Come on, big dog.
Nah, I never did that. I might be like, hey, Big Daddy Kane got you.
Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane got you. Don't worry about it. I'm going to step it up.
Chocolate. It's not like just a taste.
Big Daddy Kane got you. I'm going to step it up for you, No, I'm joking. But no, it's times like that where I see, and it's just like, okay, they checked out. Let me see if I can. Because, it's crazy how the defense can feed off of the offense, right? And I never knew, but when, like I tell you, I was playing. We were playing the Pats. It was a preseason game, and I had a good run. Broke a tackle. They spammed me on the ground, but I stayed on my feet. I broke loose, ran the guy over on the sideline, and ended up getting knocked out of bounds. But I never touched the ground. And the hardest hit I took on that play was after the play when Nick Fairley ran up to me, and came and threw his shoulder into me and hit me. And I said, man, that was a hard hit. Like, come on, relax, bro. Yeah, but after
Nick wasn't a tiny man.
No, he wasn't tiny.
Nick wasn't
he
tiny
was
man.
Every bit of 6'4", 320, 330. He was a big guy. Nick Fairley was a big guy. But after the game, when we talked, he said, listen, bro, I need to tell you this. that whenever I see you run, you get me so hype. I love when you run the ball.
That's awesome.
Right? And so that's when I started to realize, like, wow, I don't have to talk. I can just go play my game and inspire my teammates.
Sure.
And so that's what I did. So if I saw a person checked out, I just try to up my game to get them back into the game. You know, if I hear the crowd quiet, try to get it like Cowboys, get a good run, and then, you know, just put my hand to my ear to see, like, you know, we call it a crowd check.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a volume check real quick.
I had him.
And so whenever we played a game where I felt like some of my teammates were going to check out, I just tried to up my game. That's it.
I love it. Yes.
Is that what you do with your teammates on Call of Duty when you lose?
Yeah, and when we win.
That's what I get.
And when we win. How did you feel when we smacked you on Plunder?
I just, you know.
No. What do you tell your teammates when we smacked you on Plunder?
I will say this. Thank you for
what
shouting me out on Drew and Mike, but you gave the most factually incorrect answer ever.
I said you beat me in multiplayer and I beat you in Warzone. What are you talking about?
You were
How's
just
that
lies.
incorrect?
It's lies. You're doing a media tour based on losing. I don't understand it.
So I never beat you in Warzone?
You beat me in Plunder.
No, that's Warzone. So I never beat you in Warzone?
It's not real life, though. Plus, you're ducking me for, you know,
Warzone? Did I beat you in Warzone? Yes
you know,
or no?
we were supposed to play.
It's a yes
we
or
were
no.
supposed to play.
It's a yes or no answer.
We were
it's a
supposed
yes
to
or no
play
answer.
tomorrow. What happened?
All right, it's a yes or no answer.
You're a yes or no answer.
No, you know what?
So sick of getting bullied around here. I told you this Friday.
Hey, respect.
You don't have your teammates. It's done. I win 2-0. Get out of here.
You're a yes or no.
Yeah, no, I never heard that before.
No sense, and that's why I loved
it. It made no sense. I loved it. That was good.
It's almost like my kids.
It's like a kid. You see the kids arguing. The kids say, your parent, he might say something stupid like, your hair is short. No, your hair is short.
You are so grounded, Jack. You're grounded, Dad. You know?
So sick of getting bullied.
Oh, that is great.
It's gold. It's gold.
You know what? You brought up
look,
something.
James Mink said ultimate comeback.
Yes, that was awesome.
That was a hand slap, Art. Love it. You got the people on your side today. Oh, somebody called you trash can.
No.
There we go, Paul. Sponge cake.
No, Joik, you asked a great question before we went to the break, and I am somebody. It's funny because Scott Bischoff is here right now. We can say hi to Scott.
Hi.
You might remember I had this debate with somebody on Twitter a couple of years ago, the Belichick or Brady debate, okay? You can throw your opinion out there as much as you want. And I'm not saying that your opinion is not valid, okay? I'm going to beat you with facts, though. I am, every time. I'm a firm believer that Brady helped Belichick and Belichick helped Brady, okay? But there is one correct answer. One correct answer to this argument. Bill Belichick has been a mediocre football coach with mediocre results without Tom Brady. And if you don't believe me, go look it up. Period. End of story. That's the end of the debate. Do I think that Bill Belichick is arguably the greatest coach of all time? Absolutely, I do. 1,000%. But if we're going to have this conversation again, we have to be adult about it. And I know that there are people out there, Brady's a system quarterback, all that crap. I've heard it all before, okay? What I know is this. You can throw any opinion you want out there. What I know is this. Tom Brady has been, Bill Belichick has been around a 500 head coach with a little success here and a little success there without Tom Brady. With Tom Brady, he's been the greatest coach of all time. Done. There's a debate. There is no
debate about that?
That's it, right? That's what I do. Why do people always argue this? I don't get it.
Repeat that last statement one more time for the people in the back.
Okay. What I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is Bill Belichick won dick without Tom Brady. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. He has been right around a 500 coach. That is documented. You can look that up. You can fact check me.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you this right here.
And with Tom Brady, he's been arguably the greatest coach of all time. There.
I'm going to ask you this question.
All right.
And upon leaving the Patriots, who made it to the Super Bowl first?
Tom Brady took the Tampa Buccaneers from here to here. Bill Belichick took the New England Patriots from here to there. I don't understand this debate. I don't get it. They helped each other clearly. But if you're talking success, Brady beat Belichick.
They helped each other.
They did.
I don't.
No question.
Do you think if Belichick isn't there and Tom is there with another head coach, do you think they have that same success?
No, they helped each other.
All right,
no question about it.
And I come back and ask you this. Brady leaves there and takes another head coach to the championship his first year. Now, if this is a young Brady, right? Do you think he's able to do that with Tampa Bay?
Young Brady? Like 2001 Brady? I'm not so sure. A lot of things went right for that first Super Bowl. A lot of things, that first Super Bowl that they won, that they beat a lot of things went right for them that year.
What happened there?
You know, I mean, they really did. So I don't know the answer to that. But again, all I'm
saying is that he went to the Super Bowl his first year away from the Pats, right? His first year away, and
I don't get the debate. See, I mean,
there's no debate.
There isn't a debate.
I'm saying because I'm not talking about hypotheticals. I'm just saying these are the facts.
Well, there's something about Brady though.
I mean, he leaves and they don't even make the playoffs or even close to it.
But he leaves and there's an exodus. Everybody else left too. Makes you wonder.
Well,
right? I mean, how many players left?
And this is why I keep getting back to this. I mean, I've had this debate, and I know Scott, one guy that we know, kind of took it personally and all that. I said, if you're going to have this conversation, you better come with your fact gun, right? You can't just throw opinion out there because people like me are going to go, here is Bill Belichick's record without Tom Brady. Here is Bill Belichick's, my arms can't reach that.
I'm going to tell you this right now.
With Tom Brady. End.
This is what they're going to hit you with.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to a team where you can have fun and make memories? Or do you want to go to a team where you can win?
That was exactly 1,000%. Do you remember Richard Sherman a year ago right around this time? Richard Sherman was talking about the potential of going to Detroit, and he brought up the whole Patriot Way thing. And he said, I don't want to go someplace, even if I have a chance to win, where I'm not having fun.
Haloti Nada?
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
You said who? Who said that?
Haloti Nada.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that.
I talked to Haloti, and he said,
great dude.
Great guy.
Great dude.
He's
great.
High quality person you'll ever run into.
I called him. I talked to him. I said, listen, man, you going to come back for one more year? He said, wife's not going to let me do it. He said,
which means I don't want to work like that.
Yeah. Well, I said, they offer you $10 million. I said, what, they come back and they offer you $10 million to come back? He said, wife is just going to have to be mad.
No, I mean, listen, and I
Sean,
hope
there's some Michigan State bias to that whole discussion. I hope you understand.
You think there really is?
Yes.
Oh, maybe I am more objective than I think.
Yes.
Because I think everybody knows my thoughts on Michigan.
But that's the genesis of the anti-Brady stuff.
No, but you have to at some point in time acknowledge undeniable fact.
It is fact.
Period.
Brady.
Bill Belichick took a Browns team to the playoffs once in the 90s. It was a cute little run. And then the Browns sucked again. Bill Belichick just didn't have success early on with the Patriots. He went 5-11. No other way. They were 0-2. When Tom Brady took over, they were 0-2 that season. They were 0-2 when Drew Bledsoe got knocked out. Tom Brady came in. They made it to the playoffs. They won a Super Bowl. The rest is history. So when I hear this debate, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's like, okay, what are we? Because you know what I think the problem is, Scott? This goes back to your point. I think that there are some people that have, well, I can't give him any credit because he went to Michigan. Well, you're an idiot then. And then there are some people that sit back and say, it was more one. No, they work. It's hand in glove. Sometimes it works.
Hey, I'm going to tell you like this. Belichick did not have success in the Super Bowl until Brady got there.
You got it.
Until he got Brady.
Then come close to a Super Bowl.
And then Brady leaves Belichick and said no. You know, and that's why the question I asked you before the break is Brady and Belichick in competition? Are they competing right now for a Super Bowl? And right now, he's winning out.
Let me ask you something. I want to ask you something. I'm being serious. Does Joik Bell win the Harlan Hill and become the best player in Division II and eventually
without Coach Winners?
NFLer without Coach Winters and the way he utilized you. You go to Grand Valley and you're part of the process there. You're just part of the winning culture of Grand Valley and everything. Do you have the success that you had?
Do you not think that if I go to Grand Valley and they see my type of talent,
I think you're going to be an NFLer anyway, and I feel that way. I told people that both know that.
Do I think I went on Harlan Hill? Probably not, because I don't know if I get that many. I don't get that many carries.
You got it.
I remember one game as a freshman. I had 52 carries in one game. As a freshman. You know what?
That's
51. You know what? I had a 20-yarder that they called back, so it was 51. All right, but in my book, I had 52 carries in one game.
Listen, I got to bring something up. Chad said he won a Super Bowl with the Giants as a D coordinator. An unbelievable game plan, in particular in Super Bowl 25.
Chad, that's not what we're talking about, Chad.
That's a coordinator.
As a coordinator.
Is that a Lawrence Taylor-driven
head
team?
Coach, he had zero
Chad, what are you
success.
talking about here? We're not talking about coordinators. We're not talking about running back coaches. We're not talking about linebacker coaches, DB coaches. We're talking about head coaching.
He took a bad Browns team.
Chad, you let us do our job, we'll let you do yours.
I don't know. That's kind of like Matt Patricia saying, I called one of the best defensive plays of all time.
Yeah.
Chad, all jokes aside, give Bill Belichick his due, and Parcells speaks him up. No doubt about that. But as a head coach, I can only deal in fact. And the facts are, he went to Cleveland. He had one cute year where they got into the playoffs.
It was cute.
Then they fell flat on their face, and he was struggling in New England before Tom Brady took over. And by the way, when Tom Brady left, they struggled again. Where's the debate? I don't get it. I'm not
people left.
An ass.
Understand this. People left, and then also this is a testament to how they run their organization. It was 67 people who opted out of their NFL season this year, who opted out, and 8 of those guys came from one team. And what team was that? The Pats. They don't have fun there. They don't want to play there. And then we don't have a quarterback that people want to play for, like Tom Brady. Who you rather play for, Tom Brady or Cam Newton? Who's the better leader?
Paul asks, what about the 10 wins with Jimmy G, like said above? Didn't they go 11-5 and miss the playoffs? I believe they were 11-5 and missed the playoffs, okay? Yeah. Congratulations, you went 11-5. What'd you win? You didn't even make the damn playoffs.
Let me go. Let me give you Sean. Let me give you Sean an analogy. Did they go to the playoffs? The 11-5 is good? Is this where we are? Is that good enough for this team? Is that good enough for this franchise?
Good enough for Bill Belichick.
Huh? Is that good enough? Is that where we are? Is that where we're standing here?
But again, here's
11-5 isn't good enough for this franchise.
No, here's my okay. If you're going to include that, then you better include 5-11.
Was that Jimmy G or was it somebody else? I'm trying to think. That was before Jimmy G, I think.
It was before Jimmy G.
Who was it?
What's his nuts?
What's his nuts?
Yeah,
that's exactly what's going on in my brain.
Who came here as a backup quarterback for a year?
Yeah.
And I can't remember his gosh darn name. Why can't I remember his name? No. Why? Somebody help me out.
Hey, Art, man, do your job.
He signed a pretty big deal elsewhere. Maybe Kansas City?
Yes, he did. And why can't I think of his name?
Was it Matt Moore?
No.
I just made that up. That might not even be a guy.
He was with the Lions 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He was their backup quarterback for 1 year.
Matt Castle, that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you won 11-5. But again, here, this is the conversation I have. It goes back to Jared Goff yesterday. If we're going to be an adult and we're going to have a conversation, let's talk about everything. You bring up 11-5. Do you know what I bring up? 5-11. But I mean, if we're going to let's talk about everything.
How much credit are we giving him for this year?
How much what?
Credit. Like what are you
Bill
giving
Belichick?
Brady. How much what are we talking about Brady for what he's doing?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Because
a lot.
Let's be honest. What they're doing offensively is not really helping them. As much as we want to talk about Arians being an offensive guru, I think those days are in the past.
Isn't he like 67 years old now too?
Yeah,
Who, Belichick?
No, Bruce Arians.
Yeah. Back when he was with Arizona, I think in the Carson Palmer days that it was an intriguing offense, but they're not necessarily playing to Brady's strengths right now when he's still making it happen.
Yeah.
I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. I mean, that's not a team that's challenging really. They're a good defense, but I don't think they're making any kind of run like they are without Brady being there. He deserves some credit for what he's doing.
There's a comment that really sticks out. Bill Belichick is the greatest football coach of all time, but all of his success is tied to the greatest quarterback ever. There's really no debate. There's no debate with that.
That's what I keep saying
100%.
to people. This is not an anti-Belichick thing. Bill Belichick is the best coach of all time.
And I want to get this out. This is the prime example of coaches coach and players make plays. This is a player's game. It's not a coach's game. This is a player's game. And I think the separation in what Belichick and Brady have shown this season from last season has shown you guys that the players are the one that's out there making the plays. Now, the coaches are responsible for putting you in a position to be successful. But
They do
at the
a
end of
pretty
the
good
day,
job of that over there.
Huh?
They do a good job of that over there.
But one thing that this has shown me that we can go put you on another team that's not playing to your strengths, but you're still making plays and getting us to the Super Bowl. This is a player's game.
Yes.
These comments are going crazy.
He said you guys need to move on. Bill Belichick is the greatest coach and teacher of men in all sports history. Facts. Stop embarrassing yourself.
Oh, please.
Well, Steven, I got some facts for you. You ready? Bill Belichick's under 500 without Tom Brady. Oops. What happened there?
Yeah.
It feels a little bit
Period.
like the chicken and the egg.
That's real.
There's no answer
again,
to
fact check
some
me.
of that.
You can look it up right now. They go like this.
Go like that.
There's no doubt about that.
But at the end of
I know
the
this.
Bucks are in it.
Tom Brady had success without Bill Belichick.
Continues to.
Bill Belichick hasn't had a whole heck of a lot of success.
And when we say success, we're talking about him going back to the Super Bowl when they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And right now, before we get into it, we say the Chiefs are close to a disaster. Right before the Super Bowl, we'll get into that when we come back after these ads.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac. Third in the AFC without Tom Brady. Yeah, no, it's great.
Now we're back.
I mean, here's what it comes down to. I'm not being funny. Okay, you ready? I'm just going to pull it up just for argument's sake. Okay, 36-44 as coach of the Browns, with one playoff appearance, one playoff win. Okay, 36-44 at the Browns. Now listen up. Here are your facts. Just so you know, I'm not BSing. 5-11 in his first year without Tom Brady. An 0-2 start in 2011 without Tom Brady, or in 2001 without Tom Brady, and then 11-3 in a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Bill Belichick is under 500 as a head coach. Under 500 as a head coach.
Over multiple seasons.
Are you ready? Multiple decades without Tom Brady. What do you want me to say? Do you know what the difference between Bill Belichick and Jim Caldwell as head coaches? Okay, seriously, do you want to know what the difference is?
What's the difference?
Jim Caldwell had a better record. If you're talking about without Tom Brady, that's real. He's under 500. He has one playoff win.
You also have to put into play that Coach Caldwell also had Peyton Manning.
What do you want me to say? I'm not. And again, I'm not dissing him. I'm going to look square in the camera. Bill Belichick's the best coach I've ever seen. Period. You can't argue with what he did.
Is he the greatest quarterback you ever seen because of the greatest quarterback you ever seen? And if not, let me know why.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not.
They're tied at the hip.
Like I'm not. There's nothing that I said. So when I love a quote like this. Somebody said you have to stop embarrassing yourself talking about this. Facts.
But you know what? We needed this.
Facts.
We needed this break. Listen, we needed this break. We needed this separation, so we can determine the success rate of each person separate from one another.
Yeah, those are Scott. This is why I'm laughing. Scott was here.
It's a better team. I mean,
Scott was privy to that conversation. I said to somebody, I said, you can have any opinion you want. That's great, but when you talk to somebody like me, you better check in with your facts.
It said Brady wants to prove he's the GOAT. Tell him to sign with the Lions and prove it, Scott. Good luck.
What does he have to prove?
He has nothing else to prove.
God.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
you know.
And listen, I can't stress this enough. Bill Belichick's a great coach.
Listen, as critiquers, we're never satisfied.
No.
Never satisfied. It's always something.
You guys, seriously, just all I ask, if you, for some of you that aren't familiar with me, just do your homework. Just do your homework. I'm not being disrespectful. Just do your. I'm a geek. I have things in my head, and I'm going to prove it to you. And I said what I said, and I can stand by it because it's factual. Bill Belichick was an under 500 coach without Tom Brady.
Hold on. Corey Woods.
That's real.
He said he has 3 Super Bowls without, but now Corey, we've already talked about this. I don't know if you caught the whole show, but we're talking about as a head coach. We're talking about as a head coach.
I think Corey was talking to all the people that well, you have to remember they won this one with the tuck rule, and they won that one because of Adam Vinatieri. And to me, it's like, well, you can try all you want, but he still has won multiple Super Bowls. I don't get what the debate is. I'm not trying to be funny.
It almost.
Hey, he keeps proving us wrong, guys. We didn't think he was going to beat the Patriots.
Brady.
Hey, we didn't think. Get a room with Brady. Relax, Tom. All right, so
you know what we're going to talk about today, Joy?
We're going to talk about the Chiefs.
You want to talk about the Chiefs?
We can talk about Chiefs.
All right. I was going to talk some wide receivers.
Who owns
with
the
Scott.
Chiefs? Do we know who owns
the Chiefs?
You feel shame?
Slapshot.
Go to boxing.
Incredible shame.
Thank you.
Didn't he pass how long ago? Yeah.
So what's happening with the Chiefs? What's going on?
So you had 2 players that were they had a barber that contracted COVID that was cutting some of the players' heads. Now, I think they've tested, but I don't think either one came back positive for COVID. So I think they're in quarantine right now, and I guess they'll have to wait and retest again in a couple of days. I don't know how that will work, though. Will they be
I think they have to pass 5 days in a row with negative tests before they can come back into the fold kind of thing. I might be making that up. Don't hold that.
I'm going to play the role of Art.
Go ahead, Sean.
Thank you, Art. Is anybody going to be surprised when these guys are cleared to play on Sunday?
No.
Okay.
But they have tested negative to this point.
Mm-hmm.
They have.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't know that it's.
Yes, Art.
Mahomes and others had scheduled appointments for this barber. Could you
like
imagine?
20 of them.
Could you imagine if you would have?
No, listen, no. This is a killer right here. So Daniel Kilgore was actually in the chair getting cut when they came in. They removed the barber in the middle of his cut. Hey, do you have that picture?
Yeah, it's a dandy.
All right. And so let's show them the picture real quick of what he looked like in the middle. What his hair looked like in the middle of the cut.
Hang on,
Look
just
at the
one
barber
sec.
pole. I love the barber pole.
Yeah.
The barber pole is great.
Yeah.
No, we don't have the picture there. By the way, somebody said Parcells never won a Super Bowl without Belichick. Nobody's denying Bill Belichick. I don't think Bill Parcells is. I don't know what that has to do with Brady and Belichick. But can I say this? To a man, the Cowboys thought that Norv Turner was a freaking genius, and Troy Aikman in particular doesn't think that they win a Super Bowl without Norv Turner. How did that work out for Norv Turner as a head coach in the National Football League?
It doesn't always work.
It just and you know what? Again, to me, this is the most black and white conversation. I don't understand why
Pictures
it comes
up on the screen right now.
I don't get it either. Why can't 2?
All right, here we go. We got it up now. So this is Kilgore head in the middle of his cut. Take a look.
What are you going to do with that?
What do you do?
I think you roll with it. I think it's a new fashion. I think
he
it's a new,
should
I think
roll
it's a
with
new
it.
hairstyle.
He should wear that.
Absolutely.
If he would have had this side of his beard trimmed too, we could have called him Two-Face. We could have called him Two-Face.
Chad said 0.8% positive rate for NFL guys this year. Over 250,000 tests this year. Boy, it sounds like the argument that the MHSAA has been making here. 99.8% success rate. What are we doing here?
Let's hope there's good news today, huh?
There is good news today.
Good. Good.
Be some good
Sounds
news.
like it's going to be happening at about 1:30.
Yeah, and my question to you guys: even if they did come back positive, you think they would say it?
I think it depends on who it is.
1,000%.
If it's Patrick Mahomes, is it
he's
negative?
playing.
It's negative every time. It's negative every time.
It's got to be. Congratulations, Patrick. I didn't even test you yet. I know you're negative. I looked at you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell, do you think? I mean, let's be honest. And I'm going to go deep down the conspiracy rabbit hole here. Do you think that the NFL would ever allow that to happen? It's the Super Bowl. Do you think the NFL would ever allow that to happen? I'm not being funny.
No.
It's the Super Bowl. Hey, Tom Brady just came back positive. No way in hell.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes just came back positive. No way.
I don't even think it would get to the NFL. I think that stays within the organization. They don't release that information.
Yeah, you can see him hiding that and just making it go away.
You know, brushing it under the rug, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, tested positive.
That's exactly
if
how I
anyone
would
tests
expect it
positive
to happen.
after this Super Bowl, if anyone tests positive, they had it during the Super Bowl.
Oh, you're gonna, yeah. I think that we're gonna likely read about that. That's just the way it's gonna be.
It's gonna happen.
You know what I got to ask you, Scott, and Joy, this is one thing Scott and I are going to be talking about the draft show. You and I talked about this yesterday, so this is a perfect conversation to tie in going back to the Lions, okay? Scott, I know somebody, when we were having a conversation about what Jared Goff may or may not do here, somebody said to me that I wish I was making this up. Somebody said to me that the Rams have a worse receiving core than the Lions. And I said, really? Then maybe you can tell me what nobody knows what the Lions receiving core is going to look like this year.
Who are they?
Who is it?
No one knows.
I know that people don't like to hear the old bit. Joykin, you had to deal with this while you were playing. But guess what? The Lions are in the market for a wide receiver.
Several times.
Yeah, multiple times. And this is going to pain some of you. Don't be surprised if the Lions don't make their first pick a wide receiver. Don't be surprised.
Not only don't be surprised, but cross your fingers and beg for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Please. Even if they tag Galladay, which I expect them to do, but then there's some unintended consequences behind that, because you're going to have to find a way to pay him and fit it under the cap. They still need more. It's not just needing to tag Galladay and roll with Quintez Cephas and Galladay and Hawkinson and
Waddle.
Okay, that's where we are. You need more.
Waddle.
Oh, if it's Waddle,
Waddle, we good.
We're good for a while. He is as freaky, explosive, and does things with his speed that are just unbelievable. I mean, unreal to watch. It is unreal to watch him take a simple slant route, and we're talking about in the SEC where there's speed everywhere, and take a little slant or a little drag, and run towards the sideline, and safety thinks he's got him. I got a good angle. I'm good, and Waddle goes down the sideline, and the safety doesn't get near him. Over and over and over.
Over again.
I mean, repeatedly.
Deceptive.
But it's like almost like third gear type fast. Like you've seen first gear fast and you've seen second gear fast, but then when guys can run away from guys who are really fast because they can accelerate.
Who would you think his 40 time was? I know it doesn't matter, but like he has that football speed.
I think his 40 time will not be all that indicative of what he is as a player.
My question to you is this: Why do they have right? All right, so why are so many people adamant on seeing Deontay's 40-yard dash?
Devonta Smith's?
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's not really all that important to the way he plays.
Exactly. So you think it'd be better? So you think it'd be in both their best interest to not even run the 40 at the combine?
Oh, I think there is going to be no combine, so they're going to be running at their pro day, and their track might be 38 yards. I don't know.
Well, it's funny you say that because
they're going to run, and they're going to run super, super fast.
Scott and I were talking about this. Do you remember, Scott, during the national championship game where people were talking about how fast Devontae Smith is? And the funny thing is, he isn't timed. He isn't. I mean, his number, don't get me wrong, they're good times, okay? They're good times, but it's not that track speed. It goes back to what we were talking about, Joik. I think he's got football speed.
I don't think he's going to run Henry Ruggs fast.
Yeah.
I mean, like Henry Ruggs ran, was it 4.28?
Yeah, it was insane. It was like 4.28.
I don't think he runs that fast. It's more that you hit him 30 yards downfield, and he's got to slow himself.
He's like Odell Beckham fast?
40. He's faster than that.
I mean, Odell ran a 4.4.
Yeah. So the 40 time aside, it's more football fast. It's more you can watch him catch a pass 30, 40 yards downfield, and he's got to slow himself to catch the pass. And now what was a 7-yard cushion, because he ran by everybody, is now like a yard, and they're closing on him. And he's still running, right? He's running. And it's instant acceleration, and it's back to 4 or 5 yards again in a 10-yard span. So we're talking about a guy who can open it up and then has another gear beyond that. And he does it, and it's so smooth and fluid to watch him just open it up and run away from really fast guys. And I mean, it's different than anybody else in college football. It's different. Devonta Smith is a great route runner. He's super smooth and fluid, and he's polished at the stem of his route. And that's where he wins, and that's where he creates separation. And he's fast. I mean, he's not slow.
Right.
But if he ran 4.55, it wouldn't surprise me. If he ran 4.5, which is still fast, it's plenty fast, but we're talking about a 170-pound guy. Waddle is, football-wise, he does stuff that nobody in this class can do. It is just, I shouldn't say that. Tutu Atwell runs fast. He's fast too. But for what you're thinking in like round one, Waddle is, I'll just put it this way. Waddle is a guy who every time he touches the ball, you're going to edge to the front of your seat because there's potential that he will break it and take a really short throw, 80 yards, because he can. Other receivers can't do that. He's a game wrecker. He is. He'd be dynamic.
Chad said, unless you believe you're going to be in the top 5 draft next year, you take a quarterback at 7 or the best pass rush. One man's opinion. I think the Lions know that they're going to be in the position to take a quarterback next year. One man's opinion. I think they designed this team this year to, especially with some of the cap concerns and everything, to say we're going to stink for the next couple of years, and if we don't get the quarterback this year, we'll get the quarterback next year, or even, God forbid, the year after that. There's a reason why these guys are talking about 2 or 3 years down the line.
Yeah,
that's not me. They're talking about it. With that being said, I agree with Chad. You and I have talked about it forever. You have to get after the quarterback. The National Football League today is what can their quarterback do to you and what can you do to their quarterback. That's where we're at. Is there anybody near the top that you're looking at saying, boy, if you got a chance, this is a guy that can come in and be a wrecker? Not
at 7.
That's what I thought, too.
So Kwity Paye is as athletic as you're going to find.
Is he going to stay healthy?
I'm not sure he's as coveted at the NFL level as he is with media people. He's just not. I think he is an electric athlete. I just don't know how much there is. He's going to take time, right? And then it's a matter of, are there enough instincts there for him to cash in on all that athleticism? I don't know. He would scare me a little because he's just not been, like you're saying, the healthy stuff. And even when he was, how productive was he? So he's big and he has got all the movement traits that you could possibly want. It's just you're taking a gamble on him developing into something that he might not be right now. Greg Rousseau from Miami is a really good football player.
Yeah,
but you're still talking about it being, I think, a little too early in the draft. The point is well taken, though. They need somebody to get after the quarterback. They just do. So, I mean, if there was a player at 7 who could do that and was very effective doing that, I would say you should really be pounding the table for him. There just isn't. So the value has to match the position in which you're drafting to. If there's some chance they trade down to say 15 or 19 or whatever it is, then yeah, that's a player that you would say, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. That makes some sense. But at 7,
Are we getting a good idea? And I know it's still way too early, but I have to say it anyway. I mean, because what the first round looks to me leading up to the Lions is Sewell, wide receiver, and the quarterbacks. Is that pretty much what the board's looking like right now?
yeah, and I think there's a wild card in there, Kyle Pitts. And I really...
We're going to talk about Kyle Pitts, as a matter of fact.
Do not evaluate Kyle Pitts as a tight end, please. Do yourself a favor. Evaluate him as a wide receiver. And let him be a wide receiver. And if he is, I think he's one of the great mismatch players in this draft. One of the few.
Steve brings up a point. You never know. Goff might take them to 6 wins this year. Listen, a team can stink and still find a way to win 5 or 6 games. Meet the 2020 Detroit Lions.
What if I told you there's a chance that the whole Goff story is not over with the Lions? That there's a chance that they can trade him at some point. And
listen,
he's 27.
You listen. I tell you, I told Sean this yesterday that there's been rumors of trading Goff.
If they can find somebody to take on that contract, fine. But even if he plays to a respectable level this year, his contract's really friendly going forward. He's a player you could move for some reasonable capital.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Flip 1,000.
Are you flipping him for a first-round pick after this season? I don't know about that, but
I'd flip him for an autographed picture of Joik Bell.
Right now,
give me a 6th-round pick and an autographed picture of Joik Bell.
Sean, let's be serious.
I would flip him for any kind of pick I would get. I'm all jokes aside. I really would.
Because of the money this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I understand
and
that.
it's not going to happen.
No.
It's not
but
gonna happen.
His contract becomes
next year, though?
very
Yeah,
doable.
it's possible.
And he's still young enough that he could be a player for somebody else going forward.
Do you think a team that is in desperate need of a quarterback that has some type of that's the only piece they need in order to make it to the next level? You think they'll be willing to come in and make a deal like this?
Yeah.
For Jared Goff?
If anybody was to do it, it would be Indy. It would.
I would say Washington.
You really think so?
That's a piece they need.
Somebody's going to be left.
They just made it to the They just made it. They had 3 different quarterbacks.
There's not a huge
it still made it to the
dead
playoffs.
Money post 6-1 if you trade
and competed.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun.
They did.
No, I mean, Steve, I agree. We're going to cut out in a second. Do our Black History Month to end it. But I agree with you. We saw this team was awful. This Lions team in 2020. This was a terrible team. They still won 5 games and are only picking at 7. So that's the risk that you have to run. If you say, well, we'll get our quarterback next year, you could screw around and go 6-10 and find yourself picking 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality of where we're at. So it's a little bit of a gamble. All right, we got to get out of here, okay?
We do.
We're going to end the show. Props to Black History Month. Tomorrow, it's Super Bowl Friday.
Yeah.
We're just going to be talking Super Bowl all day.
Super Bowl all day. Here we go. Take a look. This is from one of the greats, one of the pillars, the pioneers, and one of the pillars and one of the giants whose shoulders we stand on, and Jackie Robinson. Hope you guys enjoy it.
On April 15th, 1947, when Jackie Robinson walked onto the field for the Brooklyn Dodgers, he broke Major League Baseball's color line, forever changing the sport and race relations in America. Jackie Robinson was an extraordinary athlete, lettering in 4 varsity sports at UCLA. During World War II, he was drafted into the Army. He was court-martialed after refusing to move to the back of a segregated military bus. Robinson fought his case. He was acquitted, then honorably discharged.
So he always had a sense of fairness, always had a sense of racial justice and social justice.
In 1945, because the major leagues remained segregated, Robinson joined the Negro Leagues and played for the Kansas City Monarchs. Meanwhile, sports writers from African American newspapers were pressuring the major leagues to integrate. Branch Rickey, general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, decided he'd act and began a search for the perfect prospect. Robinson's college education and his ability to endure the racist attacks that inevitably would ensue convinced Rickey that it was Robinson who was the ideal candidate to become the first African-American major league player. Rickey signed Robinson to the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947. Despite racist abuse from opposing teams and taunting by the crowds, Robinson managed to focus on the game. But the cost was high. He suffered indignities because of a commitment not to fight back. Gradually, he built a fan base, excelled on the field, and then was named Rookie of the Year. Even naysayers couldn't deny his outstanding talent as he led the Brooklyn Dodgers to their first and only World Series championship. When he retired, Robinson turned his attention to the civil rights movement.
He's a frontline participant, lending his prestige and his presence to these causes for civil rights.
He supported protests in Alabama, attended the March on Washington, and was one of the NAACP's biggest fundraisers. Yet Robinson saw civil rights as more than a political movement.
He engages in business and entrepreneurial activities. It speaks to his multifaceted approach: do away with Jim Crow, but create opportunities for African Americans.
By breaking the color line in America's favorite pastime, Jackie Robinson opened the door for integration far beyond the baseball field.